If you've seen this many homes with your realtor, something has gone very wrong and you need to do this one thing to get back on track. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I'm Ryan Haarer, Denver Realtor. So recently, a buyer backed out of a deal with one of my sellers before even putting down their deposit, which typically happens a day or two after getting under contract. And when I asked this buyer's agent what happened, she said she had no idea that she had shown them 35 houses and they thought this was the one and was confused herself about why they weren't moving forward. Seeing this many houses means one of two things. One, the buyer's not serious and will not be buying a house anytime soon. And or two, they are confused because they were not set up for success. So how do you, as a buyer, prevent spinning your wheels, spending endless weekends looking at houses? In this video, I'm going to walk through the exact plan I use to help my clients find the perfect home for them quickly. So it can be lots of fun looking at houses. The last thing you probably want to do when you're thinking about going to tour homes is gather a bunch of financial documents and send them to a lender. But I tell my buyers they have to start slow to move fast. So before we get to the second boring step, you have to go through the first boring step of figuring out what you can comfortably afford. Comfortably being the operative word. You might be approved for a $900,000 home, but what are the monthly payments going to be on that home? Is it a number that you feel good about paying every single month? A good lender can get you your pre-approval processed in 24 to 48 hours after you get them the necessary documents. And once they do, you can and should ask them to run through some monthly payment scenarios based on homes you've been liking. They will take a property, look at the HOA fees, the taxes, insurance estimates, and spit out a rough monthly mortgage payment. That gives you a ton of clarity when you walk into the second boring step. Reach out to me, by the way, if you need a local lender to talk through step one with. Step two, the meeting. I know, you want to go look at houses. You know how much home you can afford. So let's get really specific about what you're looking for in your price range. I want you to come into my office, or we can meet for coffee or a cocktail oftentimes, or Zoom if you're from out of state, to walk through some really specific information that will provide a ton of clarity on your search. The first thing we're going to do is talk about a location in this meeting. We want to talk about what you're looking to get out of the city and neighborhood your ideal home is in. Your agent should have a deep understanding of what I call the micro markets. Every neighborhood looks a little bit different in terms of what it offers regarding nearby amenities, and it looks different in terms of the type of offer you might write on that home. You may also not have considered certain neighborhoods or parts of town that are similar to what you're looking for. What if the perfect house isn't in the neighborhood you thought you'd be in? Rather, it's in a different part of town that you haven't explored. Maybe it's just a few minutes away. That's where I come in, giving you more options. We don't want you to miss out on a great home because you weren't even looking there. So we'll discuss drive times to work, school districts, nearby grocery stores and shopping, access to trails and highways. All of this matters and helps you eliminate a huge number of houses that just wouldn't work for your lifestyle. All right, so we have a few areas that we've really honed in on. Now I want to discuss what you really need in a home. I hear something like this a lot. We could do 3 bedrooms, but we probably really need 4. We have plans to start a family, or I work from home a lot. Ask yourself, could you actually do 3? Or should we just narrow it down now? If life is telling you that you need more or less space, act accordingly. That's why you're buying a house, to move into a property that suits your needs and future needs. Most of the time, there's no reason to compromise. Square footage is also a big one to understand. You might think that you could do 1,500 square feet, but think of yourself in a home 5 years from now. Are you growing out of it? Do you need 1 or 2 garage spots, a big backyard, or something a bit more low maintenance? Let's understand how you're going to live in the home. This will help narrow down the search quickly as well. All right, so if you got your numbers dialed in, you know the highest amount you're willing to pay for a home. You have a really good idea of the features you need in the home. Now we need to understand some of the more specific home features that really define your home search. Do you want a new construction home that's never been lived in? Then we need to discuss what it looks like to buy a new construction home. How do we negotiate with builders? And what are the pros and cons of this process? Do you want something older with a bit of character? What's your tolerance for home maintenance or remodels on some of these older homes? Are we looking for something completely turnkey, or do you actually want to do some of the work on your own? That's a budgeting question that we really need to dial in on. Because while your mortgage payment's one thing, there are additional expenses with owning a home. Let's talk about what that looks like in years 1, 2, and 3. And beyond the age and condition of the home you're looking for, are there any specific features that you'd want included in an ideal world? Maybe you don't have to have it, but would a walkout basement be nice? A 3-car garage? A finished basement, unfinished basement? Sometimes that's more of a need. How about a separate guest suite, a gourmet kitchen, walk-in closets? Let's get really specific here about what you want and recognize you may not get all of it, but it'll give you confidence to write an offer when you see the one. So what does it take to write offers? Now that we know the area you want to be in and the type of home you're looking for, we need to discuss what it looks like to write an offer on that type of home. Different neighborhoods and different home types lead to different approaches when writing offers. Are there many homes that you like on the market in your ideal neighborhood? It means you may have a bit more leverage in negotiations. Is there only one home a month popping up in your ideal neighborhood? How do we write an offer that helps you get the home without overpaying? These are all strategies we need to discuss so that you're mentally prepared leading up to making one of the largest purchases of your life. Finally, with all of this information, we need to talk about how we're going to find your next home. Yes, Zillow and the official Realtor MLS pages are great. Most of the time, that's where you'll find your home. But what about those new construction homes or off-market properties? How do we make sure we're not missing any of those? That's where I come in with my relationships with other agents and builders. I may be able to find you something that's not available to everyone else. We'll then talk about what to look for when touring homes and the offer writing process. So how many homes should you be seeing? Well, it depends on many factors. But on average, I would say my clients see 10 to 12 houses. Not 35 like the agent I told you earlier. 35 houses could mean months and months of searching, weekends eaten up, and lots of frustration at the end of the day. So let's streamline the process by starting slow, then going out to look at houses we know match most of your criteria. If this is a meeting you'd like to have, please reach out. I work the Denver metro area and would love to help you find your next home. My contact information is in the description below, and I hope we talk soon.